We start the production of cricket balls with the very best quality leather, which has to be cut into 4 pieces, into 2. So 4 becomes 2 lots of 2, and that is actually done in the reverse. We apply what we call a false quarter inside, which fits in to that groove. And then it's molded under pressure to form a smooth surface, whereas that's obviously rough. And then it's cut to the exact size to form a cup. So then you've got 2 cups. So there's the 4 pieces of leather put together, and in the middle is that cork center. So when it's got to that stage, that's what you call a seam. We then go over to the hand stitching. And this again is that form there. The stitcher has this anchored between his knees, and then he starts the actual stitching process where the stitching goes from one side to the other and back, one side to the other and back. And you can see how beautifully neat and that is. And that's the actual thread, you know, which has got these bristles which they cause a hole and then poke it through. And eventually it ends up as a finished product. When we finish the stitching, the ball is not absolutely perfectly in shape. So we need to do what we call a milling process, and this rather ancient gadget here is a mill. Wind down on it to give it maximum pressure. Now there are more modern ways of doing this, but we believe that this actually involves the skill of the worker who can tell by the amount of pressure he needs to put and so on, and how long he's got to leave it. So when he takes it out, he will examine it and look at it to see if it's in good shape, and if he's satisfied, he will put it in through the next process. The specification of the ball is that it has to be fitting 2 rings, a large ring and a small ring. The small ring is 8 13/16 of an inch, and the big ring is 9 inches. So it has to pass that ring test. And then, of course, there's a weight test. And the weight, the tolerance is 156 grams to 163. So we have some automatic scales here which we put the ball on. So that's a pass. After the stamping process, we then do what we say is lamping. And I'll just hand this over to my colleague. This is done with a naked flame. Just exposes it to the heat, which melts the wax, and then it has to be rubbed in by hand. Right, once we finish the lamping process, we then come to the final polishing process. And we apply it by hand, with very old-fashioned and a bit slow, but we believe that's the way to do it. And it makes the ball perfect at the end of it. So, you know, a skilled operative does that fairly quickly. It dries quite quickly. And you put it on the tray to dry. And then, of course, after a while, it's ready for the action.